Public Law 1975 entitled Open Public Meeting Act. Adequate notice of the board meeting has been provided as specified in the act. Proper notice of this public meeting was provided in a notice of January 15, 2020. Said notice was posted at the entrance of the Board of Education offices, mailed to the Nutley Township Clerk, posted on the district website, sent to tap-in to Nutley, advertised in the Nutley Sun. This is an official meeting. We have the flag salute, please. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If we could remain standing, please. A moment of silence for the parent and the child that are Nutley people that we lost in a fire recently. Thank you. Roll call, Ms. Cuso.
Mr. Carnicella?
Here.
Mrs. Stanchek-Moore? Here. Mr. DeMayo?
Here.
Mr. Ferraro?
Here.
Mrs. Quirk? Here. Mr. Riley? Mr. Scalera? Mrs. Zarrow? Mr. Kaczynski?
Here. Approval of the minutes. Someone can approve the minutes, please.
Up for the minutes.
Second. Thank you. Correspondence? Ed, any correspondence?
I have none.
We are going to just move things along a little bit. Our superintendent is on her way. She's dealing with some traffic issues right now. So we have the presentations from the VFW. You want to come forward, and Chris Osage and Darrell Root to deal with it?
Yeah.
I'm going to turn it back this way, okay? All right. Good evening, everyone. The VFW nationally always hosts a competition for the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. It's Patriots Pen Essay. And they pick local winners, and then some of those winners go on to bigger competitions. We have presentations to 5 students who really excelled in their essays, and I appreciate them taking the time to write their essays and with such thought and such care. So we'd like to present them with their awards. The auxiliary and Commander Root will present their awards. Have the Camilla is first place.
Young lady.
Matthew Blanchard. And Samantha Growler, third place. All right, and the auxiliary? We have Dee and Anna presenting, and we have first place was Tariana. And second place was Gabriella.
Maybe we can.
Great job. Thank you so much.
Can we move back, just move back into that corner a little bit so we can get a picture, okay? You okay? You're always in charge. Let's go a little closer. Any other board members like to come up? You're welcome to come up.
Thank you.
Move it nice and close.
Chris, do you want to get in it?
No, thanks, but.
Make it. Everybody's good?
Thank you so much.
Congratulations to the recipients. Thank you very much to VFW. Always appreciated. You, as parents and students, are welcome to stay for our very interesting board meeting, or you're welcome to leave now if you'd like.
Have a nice day.
Don't forget to follow us on YouTube.
Good night, Sal. Good night.
Dragging him out.
How was your 2 minutes of fame? 15 minutes, 2 minutes.
Nobody, they don't take care of us.
Okay. All right, if we could have your attention, we'll get back to our board meeting, okay? This month, as you probably know, is Board Recognition Month. And far be it from me to say the fantastic job that our Board of Education does. Having been involved in it for 25 years, I've seen different faces, different agendas, different people, but I must say, this board that we're working with now is a pleasure to work with. A lot gets accomplished. As you know, because most of you know us as people outside of the Board of Education, our interest is in Nutley, our children are in Nutley, our concern is for our Nutley children, and we all bring that to the table. So I want to recognize my board, our board, for the great job that you do. With that, we all get the same pay. We all know the amount of money that we receive for this. Sometimes when you find yourself in a position as the Board of Education president, you don't realize, and I can probably, he's not going to like this, but I can probably say, as most of us know, certainly our new board members, it's not as nice as it is sitting on the other side of the table sometimes. It's difficult, it's challenging, especially when we know we are here for the love of our children, for the love of Nutley. And I know that our past president, Danny Carnicella, is here for that reason. When you step up to take the position as president, you do the same work that we do as board members, just more time involved in getting to that same point. Meetings with the superintendent, meeting with different people, it's an exhausting job, and I congratulate him for the great job that he did. I'd like to read the presentation, Daniel Carnicella, in recognition and appreciation of service as president, Nutley Board of Education, from 2017 through 2019. Danny is a pleasure to work with, and I know he cares about Nutley and our children, so thank you very much for the job. Yes, we do need a picture of this.
So I'm just going to say, I always try to come with integrity first. Most of you know that. I'm not always quiet, but I couldn't be more proud to be in this role and what I've done over the last 3 years, because it's a compliment to what all of us have done and the support that we all put together every time we sit down in a board meeting, whether it's out in public and in the public forum or if it's in the closed session. You know, we can bicker, we can fight, we can argue, and we always come together with a consensus to make sure that we're doing right by our students and by the district and by the community. And I couldn't be more proud to be surrounded by everyone here, because without everyone working together, this isn't as important. So I thank all of you from the deepest bottom of my heart, and for the new ones, the older ones. But thank you, thank you. Very surprised, I appreciate it, and let's get a picture, and that works, that's it.
Let's get a picture of our board. And I apologize that our other 3 board members are not here. It's not fair because they're part of our team, but because of sickness or other issues, they were not able to make it tonight.
But you can come up here. I mean, you're not Karen, but you can come up here.
Okay? Well, we'll get one with that and one without it.
Oh, I'm not going in the middle. I'm fine right here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we're going to have a safety and security presentation from Board Member Danny Carnicella, our security expert, Natty Ferrara, and Ian Viemeister. Okay, I'm sorry, Mike Parigi, I'm sorry. You're all set. Okay, and our superintendent.
Oh, look at that.
Timing is everything.
What are you starting with?
We're just starting with the safety and security presentation right now.
Thanks, everybody. Sometimes you gotta put your kids first. That wasn't today. And thanks, Michelle, because you made that happen for me today. Don't take any pictures of my feet. I'm not moving shoes.
That's why we have the curtain in front.
That's what it's for
And your
usually, but
samples
we're
are.
up here. But now we're up here. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. All right. Ta-da. Hi. So, as I've been sharing over the past couple meetings, our strategic plan action committees have been meeting on an ongoing basis. They're planning for implementation action steps. We set a lot of goals in each focus area. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about our recent safety and security efforts. On the board agenda tonight, excuse me, you're going to see approval for the memorandum of agreement. That is the agreement that the district is required to develop with the Nutley Police Department. It gets filed every year with the county and the state. The agreement dictates how we work together, the police and the district. We review it every year. We update it when it's necessary. The only change to this year's document is a statement that they're requiring about streaming video between the schools and the police station. For us, that's not new. For us, we've been doing that for a while. It's already in place. And I think I want to say on camera and to all of you, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention how really, really important and valuable our partnership with the Nutley Police Department is. Our collaboration is wonderful. We work together daily, sometimes multiple times a day. They respond to our many, many requests, and we are able to count on them not only in the community, but they really do add a tremendous amount to our schools. We have the LEAD program. I hope you see pictures of the officers having lunch with the kids, playing basketball with the kids. We have a big picnic together. They also participate in programs. They'll be reading to the students for Read Across America in the classrooms. We do Cookies with a Cop. We're going to do our second Cookies with a Cop the first week in March. All of those things are really important partnerships to us. The memorandum of agreement is kind of a structure for that, but it's really just a structure. Everything that we do, honestly, is a pleasure. The officers I work with, Chief Strumolo, Commissioner Petracco, it really is powerful for us. And I've talked probably many, many times before with safety and security. No matter what we do, there's always more to do. I could work on this every day and there'd still be something else to do. There's always more layers to add. I talk about the layers all the time. We are, excuse me, continuously adding extra cameras. Obviously, some of these things you don't see if you just walk around, but they're there. We've had the exit alarms on the exterior doors at the high school, and now we're in our first full year with the new ID cards and the bathroom swipes in all of the schools. Oh, thank you so much. The swipes allow us to secure the bathrooms, thank you, Natty, in a lockdown. But there are other things that they can do for us, other benefits that I think are still on the horizon. In addition to the members you're going to hear from tonight, because I'm not going to bother putting up the slide, I'm just going to introduce everybody. We do have a strategic plan committee, our leadership committee. It includes Jean Boyle, who's our district registrar, Doug Jones, the principal from Washington School, Principal Frank Francia from Yannicott School, Fred Scalera, one of our board members. The next step for what we're doing at this point, what you're going to hear about for this committee is to survey the community. We want to hear what are the things we've put in place in the last couple of years that have made a difference to you. Are those things working? Are the things like permitted and non-permitted, do they need to be monitored, reviewed, adjusted? All of those things. So that survey is coming next from our committee. I will thank you in advance for your feedback. We do appreciate when people take time to give us our input. At this time, I'm going to introduce Natty Ferreira. Natty is our Director of School Safety and Security. He's going to kick off the first of several people talking about safety and security. Our committee meets pretty regularly, quarterly at the very least. The other people that you're going to hear from tonight besides Natty, you have Ian D. Meister. He's our IT Director. He'll talk to you. We have Danny Carnicella, Danny, board member, Michael Parigi, our Director of Facilities. And each of them have a slightly different perspective on the work that we've been doing and what's coming up. So let's start with Natty, if you don't mind. I'm going to go back to my spot since we're not going to do the PowerPoint. Just enjoy. Thanks, Nat.
Thank you. My name is Natty Ferrara. I've been the Director of Safety and Security in the Nutley schools for the last 17 years. I'm the liaison between the Board of Education and Nutley Police Department. I'm also a retired Nutley police officer. I'd like to give you a little overview about security drilling and training that we do. I coordinate the safety and security efforts for the district. This includes facilitating 2 drills a month, 1 fire drill, 1 security drill. We do these drills also monthly with before and after care programs. We invite the police department all the time, and the fire department comes to 2 evacuation drills. In addition, my office also provides security training for new teachers, substitute teachers each month, and the parent volunteer training in March, which comes under the medical school when they have a program there for after school. This month we just completed tabletop discussions each school, as well as security decisions with the extended day program supervisors. Decisions allows us to monitor and adjust the procedure on an ongoing basis. We also recently updated each of the school safety and security manuals to make them consistent. In February, we were enforcing our drills with procedure morning and aftercare staff. In addition to providing training and whole security drills, we also participate. The middle school and the high school safety officers and myself have completed the Office of Homeland Security in Preparation Comprehensive Active Shooter Incident Management online seminar. This was a 6.5-hour course that covered the following topics: the evolving risk of active shooters, an overview of workplace and school violence, behavior risk indicators, dynamic active shooters, and evolving supply banners and intervention. We recently did a 3-hour training to prepare schools for massive casualty incidents. In addition, Athletic Director Joe Pyro, Nutley High School Safety Officer Eric Anderson, Director of Curriculum Ken Banya, and Janine Laconsola. Did I get it right, Janine?
One of these days.
I'm sorry, Janine. And myself attended the 2.5-hour training in after-school sports and special event security. Training took place at the Morris County Public Training Academy. Just prior to starting of the school year, I attended a 40-hour training at the Morris County Public Safety Training Academy with Dr. Glazer. We both received certifications as New Jersey Safety School Specialists, which is now mandated by the state of New Jersey. Dr. Glazer and I also have received FEMA training certificates, and our goal is to do all the training and drilling we do as an ongoing thing. So we continue to try to find things that are going on and going out there. So thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for the job that you do. It's nice to have one of our own police department on our staff that's knowledgeable and works closely with them. It's obviously a help.
Thank you,
Thank
John.
you. Ian, you want to talk to us a little bit about Raptor and other technologies?
We're in the process of implementing a visitor management system, which will, among other things, read driver's licenses when you come to each of the buildings, which you must come to with an appointment. So assuming you have an appointment, come to the building, present your driver's license, it gets read in the scanner, It will read the photograph on one side of the license and read the barcode off the other. You know, the little pattern on the back of all your licenses is actually a readable barcode. Pull out your name, address, driver's license number, look it up in our local database if there's any restraining orders or contact issues. It will also look it up in the Megan's Law database. How we react to that is currently under policy review. We've talked about it recently in policy committee meetings. It's also under legal review. I don't know if we did hear back today from lawyers on that one.
But I haven't
Legal
been
review?
here, so I'm sorry.
So
Maybe, I don't know.
pending legal review, that will be installed and operational at all 7 buildings. We'll start with the high school first and then roll it out to the others. That will, once you, assuming you pass the initial lookup, we'll print out a badge with your photo on it, your name on it. The badge will, assuming you don't turn it back in, will fade automatically by the next day. I'm sure most of you have seen that if it's in some way or another. And will be required to be on any visitor in the building. That includes people who are coming to the building for service and maintenance contractors, as well as parents coming for a meeting with a guidance counselor. So that will be operational this school year, pretty much as soon as legal issues are
Right, just the policy.
resolved.
Thanks. Can we
Thank you.
talk about the other piece?
Alyssa's Law.
Alyssa's Law.
Yes. So we've actually had this already for quite some time. I don't know if you're familiar, recently, over this past summer, the state passed Alyssa's Law, which requires effectively a lockdown button, a button that silently alarms the local police department that somebody has placed the building in lockdown. So in certain key areas of the buildings, you hit a switch, just like a bank alarm, and it will notify the police department. In our case, we've had them for quite some time, quite a few years. They already locked the building down. They lock all the outside doors. They lock the new swiped bathroom doors, and they'll be contacting the police department. That is something we're going to be including in the drills going forward. Lockdown drills in the future will include hitting that button live. It will send out a recorded message directly to the police department. If the police department is busy, of course, it bounces to the next available 911 center. It's going to have a recording, which will unfortunately probably be in my voice, announcing what building it is, the address of the building, and the building's been placed in lockdown. So obviously, if that switch gets hit for real, the police will respond, and if it's part of a drill, they'll already know in advance, and will be expecting the call to come in. So that is part of Alyssa's Law. We've already had the vast majority of that in place for quite a few years before the law went into place. If you were following Alyssa's Law as it changed over the last couple of months, there was also a requirement at one point for lights of varying colors. They went with red, they went with blue on the outside of the building to indicate the building was in lockdown. The current and final version of the law has removed that. They do not want lights on the outside of the building indicating it's in lockdown now. We may actually still put an indication of the visitor there, just so the visitor coming up knows why we're not answering the door then.
Thank you, Ian.
Thank you, Ian, for your hard work.
Always. It's hard.
I know.
Danny?
Mr. President? Any questions?
At the end. Can we ask at the end? Danny?
So, as we continue to build our budget for the 2021, or 2020-2021 school year, we're working towards integrating the Anaquo secure entrance into our capital projects for the upcoming budget year. Our goal is that we are able to create a true secure entrance consistent with our other 4 elementary schools. John Walker Middle School will maintain its current secure entrance and will be included in the continued discussions of overcrowding and an eventual expansion of the John Walker Middle School. As Nadia discussed, and we're talking about safety and security in our middle school, we're continuing a successful implementation of safe school officers. While Armando is on medical leave, we have identified an outstanding leave replacement officer, former Wyckoff Police Sergeant Daniel Kellogg. Officer Kellogg is a 26-year veteran who has more than 10 years of experience teaching DARE at the middle school level. Additionally, Officer Kellogg is a certified firearm, rifle, and active shooter instructor, community safety officer, and has provided dozens of presentations to students, community groups, and senior citizens on topics such as crime prevention, drug education, driver safety, and pedestrian and cyclist safety. We are thrilled to have him join our team. We've also been able to identify a substitute safe school resource officer, former Nutley Patrol Officer Phil Kessling. Officer Kessling retired from the Nutley Police Department with 25 years of experience. Also with his experience included school campus, being a school campus officer, and we're pleased to also welcome him back to the service of Nutley and our school district.
And Phil's with us tonight, so thanks for being here too.
Thank you very much, Mr. Costello.
And then last but not least, for this presentation, we have Michael P.
There's several projects that we're trying to complete before the end of the year. We started installing new security blinds in all the classrooms above the doors. We have 6 completed to date, and still, Washington is still not completed. That should be completed by the end of the week. There's several blinds missing, and when they come in, the entire project will be complete. Phase 1 of the new outside lighting changeover is almost complete at Nutley High School with all 7 schools on the schedule. The BOE has several door replacements planned throughout the district. John Walker Middle School auditorium, Yanako Gym, Washington gym entrance needs to be secured at the top of the stairs to secure the gym. There's several other classroom doors that we need to get on the project. I just don't have those with me.
That's okay.
Yes.
So we've been talking a lot about secure, right? We have the secure entrances, we've done a lot of things. Some of the old auditorium doors, and if you look at the door right here to the choir room, they have the Velcro that wraps around the crash bar, and that does keep somebody from coming in, but I wouldn't say it's the most secure. If we replace the doors that Mr. Paridi is talking about, we actually are able, in a lockdown situation, we're able to secure the students in that space, the auditorium or the gym, which we can't do except for the Velcro now. At Washington School, the way it's configured doesn't allow us to do anything. So it'll require some construction to reconfigure the space.
At the top of the stairs.
At the top of the stairs. Now.
Questions?
The program for the licenses, it's going to be available at all schools.
Yeah, all 7 buildings are going to have that. Obviously, the location, depending on how the building is laid out, it's going to be as close to the secure entrance as possible. The Anaconda, until it's reconstructed, is going to be a little awkward. We'll probably end up putting that one on a laptop in the lobby just past the...
Is there going to be an implementation period for each school, or is it going to be...
Yeah, starting with the high school first, and then rolling out to the others as we go.
It's not a long implementation period?
No, it's actually not so much testing the equipment as just rolling out the process. Once we have the legal answers on that...
No, I know. Once the policy, legal, that's all been taken care of, it's not going to be like a 6-month process.
Oh, no.
We're going to be able to take care of
Take
it
your
within...
driver's license and go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. And then the other question I have is, I know we talked about it, but maybe it's something we need to look at is, do we have alarms on doors going out?
Yes, I talked about that. So we've done the exterior doors at the high school, the exterior door alarms. Where else? We only identified a few other
Right.
things.
At
so
the
far.
moment, the high school exterior doors all have exit alarms, which you can silence with the key if the door needs to be open for an actual event. But the exterior doors, barring a couple of the more unusual doors, like the old auto shop door, which doesn't actually have an exit alarm, but all the doors in the stairwells, the main exit doors, all have them. So they can't get propped open without an alarm going off. It does record electronically, of course, when the door was opened or closed at any one point. The most effective part, of course, is just the noise that goes off and prompts someone to notice the door is open and actually goes.
So if somebody tries to open the door from inside,
Yeah.
the alarm's gonna come on, it's gonna...
Depending on which door it is, some of the doors are, of course, the official exit doors that the students are allowed to exit from these days.
So then there's-
Those are set so that if you prop the door open, if it stays open more than, I forget the exact time, about 30 seconds, then the alarm goes off. The other doors that aren't official student exit doors anymore, they're only emergency exits or staff entrances, those, the alarm will go off as soon as you push the crash bar.
Is that just at the high school, or is that...
Just in the high school at the moment.
Okay, so we're gonna work to do that at all schools?
So, yes, but it makes it easier at the other schools because the other schools were only using the secure entrance. There's only 1 or 2.
Yeah, but if
So
somebody...
we did the one that
But
was the
if
biggest
somebody
so far.
from inside tries to open the door, it's not gonna alert anybody at this point, but we're gonna work to make
Yes.
sure that we have the alarms. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Farrar. Any other questions? Are we going to find ourselves putting this information out to the public? Because
So-
there's always concern from the public. What are we doing?
So, as the board knows, but it's a good question for the community, we had planned to do a State of the District letter right after New Year's and send that out to the community. Unfortunately, with so many things taking priority in the community, we thought that we were better presenting it publicly and then following this up with a letter.
Very good.
Soon.
Yes, sir. Just, you need to do me a favor. You need to come down, present yourself. give the information to Madeline Kukuza, and then we can talk.
Thanks, Chris.
My question is there special concerns for safety for the trailers? I mean, they have a lot of windows, and what's being done for that?
Okay? Someone want to try to answer
I
that?
will tell you that the trailers are not safe. The only recommendation that we have for the trailers is to put fences. We've, at Yanakaw and Washington School, Spring Garden is behind the school, and it's naturally protected by the building and by the way people can't come through. The fencing at Yanakaw would look like, can you picture Yanakaw School and the blacktop where they are? There would actually be a rolling fence that would go over that blacktop, a high fence to keep people in and out, as well as fencing that goes down the stairs into Yanakaw Park. The looking in, I can't do a thing about, and I can't do that in the school buildings either. That's unfortunately, when we did the Homeland Security Assessment, when they came and did all 7 buildings, they're really, short of us paying attention to what's happening outside the buildings, there's not a lot to
It's
do.
leaving a lot of kids vulnerable in my eye.
It is. We've added the window screens. We've done all of their recommendations that the Homeland Security recommended to us. Unfortunately, and this is scary to hear and hard for me to say even after all these years, we put in all of those layers to keep students and staff as safe as possible. There are no guarantees.
I would hope that maybe we would spend a little more time with the teachers that teach in the trailers as far as lockdowns are concerned. Yeah,
We do.
okay.
Actually, we do.
We need to make that point, is what I'm saying.
Actually, right now, we have cameras at Yanakaw on the trailers, and we're very close to putting in at Yanakaw, and I'm sorry,
At
at
Washington.
Washington and Spring Garden.
Yeah, and the cameras are for that exterior layer of observation.
Excuse me, cameras in the trailer that the principal can see, like in Spring Garden?
Anybody that has access to the camera,
Or you, okay,
anybody that has access to, permission to look at these cameras will be able to see it.
where are they at?
Outside.
Can't tell you.
Not in the
If we
classroom.
tell you, then they're no longer effective.
I meant was the principal going to be able to see if there's movement,
Yes.
additional movement in the trailer that doesn't
If I
belong there?
may, going back, you got to be careful about putting them in the classrooms.
I understand.
They're not in
Normal
the
had a problem with
classrooms, they're
that, where
outside the trailer.
the union went after them because it was like, are we looking at the
Yeah,
teachers or
and I can see the
are we
point.
watching what's going on in the
None of
classroom?
these are inside the classroom. They're on the outside,
Okay,
and they are visible. Also, the trailers, all, the existing ones and soon to be the new ones going in, are also swipe access. So the only way in and out of those for the teachers is with a swipe card. If they lose that swipe card, it can be disabled, so you don't have a key floating around out there that you get a.
nobody should take it, be defensive. I don't mean that you are, but like I mentioned before, we're the public. We're board members, but we're the public. We hear these questions all the time, or we're gonna hear them now, about the trailers or about the shades that we're putting up. So we like to have the answers when we can too. That's all.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Barbara Lovejoy, 32 Hampton Place. I have a question regarding the license swiping, the driver's license. So if I wanted to come to the school, I call, I set up an appointment, I have a meeting, I come to the school, I hand my driver's license, it gets swiped, and you're scanning all my information off my driver's license. Where does that information go?
Well, where does it go, or does it get kept? It does get it gets checked against the state Megan's law database.
Right.
It verifies that you're not on the list, and it then pops up basically a little green indicator on the screen saying you're not checked. It's not actually checking your driver's license number, it's just checking your name and address against the database, that's all they have in there. If there happens to be multiple people with similar names and addresses, it will pop up a little, are you sure? And a picture of the actual registered offender, so that the person running the door can check to make sure it's not you. That information is then retained, just name, address, and the photograph off the license in the local database right there at that school. So the next time you come in, if you come in multiple days in a row for multiple meetings, you don't have to get the license each time. If the person running the door sees you were just here, I just ran you, they can pull your record up on the system and print a badge for you, an adhesive badge, without registering your distance.
Who has access to that information?
The person running the door, myself, I guess, because I run the system, and the building principal would have access to it.
And then how long is it stored for?
That is part of
That's
the
one of
policy.
the policy
That is part of the policy the
questions.
lawyers are currently reviewing, actually. And that's one of the reasons the lawyers are reviewing that.
I probably would think that we would guide off what the attorneys tell us, what the amount of time that would be retained. I would have the same concerns, but
I mean, not
that's what
speaking
a
for an
policy.
attorney, but generally it wouldn't be longer than the school year. It's not going to be an indefinite
I just
storage.
have concerns about it. After going through hell with having my mother's identity stolen, to know that
It's
this
not,
information
it's
is
not,
like-
it's not actually, it's not keeping the driver's license number, it doesn't do a social security number, it doesn't do a phone number. It's really just name, address, and photo.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from board members or from the audience? Okay, we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. We have a number of things coming up in the district, all really exciting, and I'm going to spend my report talking mostly about those. On February 4th, the district, in partnership with the Nutley Educational Foundation, will be screening a film called Like. It's a documentary. Hopefully you've seen the promotional material for that or the trailer for it. We are inviting you to come with your children who are 5th grade and older. It is appropriate for everybody. It is free. Make it dinner and a movie. Come at 6 o'clock. We'll feed you pizza and start the screening at 6:30. There'll also be a panel following. The film is about social media. It is, I thought it was fascinating when I screened it. Lots of information on social media and how it affects us individually and collectively. So I hope you'll come out. It's at the Nutley High School Auditorium on February 4th. On Wednesday, February 5th, the district is hosting the Learning Forward New Jersey Regional Conference here at the middle school. This is a professional learning conference. We welcome our own staff members as well as staff from other districts to come and have a shared professional learning experience. This year's topic is feedback. It's the 3rd year that we're going to be hosting that in the district. Then we start the next night, February 5th, we have our winter concert. I know we did a lot of the other schools. This is the high school winter concert, again at the high school auditorium. And the next night, so everybody, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're gonna have a busy week at the high school. We have Night of Nations, and our Night of Nations is really a wonderful program if you've never been. Our students host it. They're doing a little bit different take on it this year. But it is a cultural event, highlighting different cultures of the world. There'll be food, there'll be performances. It's always a lot of fun, and that's in the high school cafeteria. The district is closed on Monday, February 17th for President's Day. For the schools, they're closed Tuesday the 18th through Friday the 21st for winter recess. And then when we come back, we're already ready for the high school musical, which this year is Rock of Ages, February 28th to March 1st, also at the high school. The district calendar, for next year, will be on the February agenda for approval. Everybody always asks me that, so I figure I'll just tell you now, the February agenda. The other thing that is coming up, and we're trying to do it just a little bit earlier this year, kindergarten registration. Kindergarten registration will be held on March 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and then the following week on the 9th and 10th, also at the high school in the cafeteria. There'll be information on the district website. I think some has already been sent out, different school, different night. Please make sure if you have new neighbors, people who have children coming to the district for the first time, we're really trying to get the word out. Sometimes people move here and they don't come to register until, August. And with our overcrowding issues, we've really had a problem displacing people from their home school. So I'm encouraging people to register early if they're in town, and they already have a child that is of age to come into kindergarten. The last thing for tonight, January is School Board Appreciation Month. School Board Appreciation Month, who knew? And the New Jersey Association of School Boards puts out a tremendous amount of information, but usually in October. And I think at the January reorg meeting, the first one, when we did the oath and everybody went around the table and read that, you understand the tremendous commitment that our school board members make. In case you weren't sure, each of the people, our 9 members of school board, are volunteers. When I talk about all of those events, they're at all of those events. When you hear about a PTO tricky tray, a fundraiser, a tournament, they're there. It is a tremendous time commitment, but more than that, our board members are people who have taken the time to learn about education in the Nutley Public Schools. They have an ongoing commitment to reading, to learning policy, to asking questions like you've heard tonight. It is, they tell you it's 10 hours a month. You're lucky if it's 10 hours, see we all laugh. You're lucky if it's not 10 hours a day. Some of our board members I talk to multiple times a day, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. They are elected positions, so that has one level of commitment. But beyond that level of commitment, you see, and I know that not everybody's here with us tonight, but in the 9 people that are serving on the Nutley Board of Education, you have people that have been able to put their own agendas aside and really do what's right for kids, do what's right for this district, and do what's right for education in Nutley. I couldn't be more proud to serve with all of you in the 3 years that I've been here. Charlie was the first board president, then Danny, I've been with for the last couple of years. We have Charlie back again, and I am truly grateful for the involvement of each of you, for your participation, for your engagement, for your willingness to listen. You have to know, you see us sit before you. We all look like we agree all the time, and the truth is there's a tremendous amount of respect among each of us. We are able to agree to disagree and make the decisions that keep the district moving forward and make sure that Nutley Public Schools and the Township of Nutley continues to be the very, very special place that it is to live and work and go to school. Thank you, each of you, for everything that you do every day, not just in the month of January. We could make every month School Board Appreciation. Charlie?
We took care of it before you got
Oh.
here.
Well then, Danny, I'm sorry I missed that. That's fine. I'm sorry I missed that. That's fine. I'll watch the video. Thank you.
We'll be riveting close.
But Danny, thank you for your service. Thank you for the amount of time. Nobody could possibly know the amount of time we have spent together, and I hope that you're enjoying a little bit of a break while Charlie picks up the slack. But thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Glazer. Ed, have you anything to say for us tonight?
Nothing formal. I haven't been here long enough to really hear anything of what I've been doing. What I can tell you is that I made an assessment of the office and tried to get a feel for what's where and how things are progressing down there. You'll be happy to know that everything I found is pretty much what I expected to find. I've known Karen for a number of years, but this is the first time I've actually had the opportunity to get inside the workings of her office, and she was spot on all the way. I will also tell you that you've got a terrific staff down there. They're helpful, they're knowledgeable, and they're really doing the school district well. And that's all I have.
We appreciate that. If you don't know, Mr. Appleton is here on an interim basis, filling in until we find our way into a assistant BEA and a BA. But if any of you have had to do that in your career, and I have, when you're just dropped into a situation and you're expected to have all the answers the next day, it's not easy. certainly when it comes to numbers. That would not be my forte. But good for Ed and good for Nutley to have Ed on board right now. Thank you for your help. Mr. Parigi.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay. We have been working on proposals to change over our TA lighting in our classrooms, hallways, and offices to new LED lighting. The rebates are from the New Jersey Clean Energy Program, and the project needs to be approved before the deadline of June 1st, 2020. We are projected to finish that in time. The Washington Modular is awaiting final inspections. This will be done after our fire alarm wiring is completed. This will be completed in the next 2 weeks. The Spring Garden Module, the exterior walkways are almost completed, the plumber is completed, and the electrician has to relocate 2 outside lights. My staff has started installing the Cat 5 wiring. The wire for the door swipes, the fire alarm install is scheduled to start this Thursday. Staffing, currently we have 2 open positions that have been posted, and the jobs are closed. We plan on scheduling interviews for the week of February 10th.
Thank you very much. No student tonight. Committee reports. Mrs. Dan Checkmore. We'll start with you, please.
Okay, sure. The academic committee met on January 22nd. Mr. Vania, Ms. Loconsolo detailed the January 17th professional learning single session for staff development. There were many highlights, including the staff requested change from more voice and choice into what sessions would be, and highly praised sessions on cultural responsive teaching with Dr. Nadich from Montclair State University, a mental health session in collaboration with the Nutley Family Service Bureau, dyslexia training, Schoology training, and a number of other sessions were delivered by our own staff and administrators. In addition, as a result from visiting the other districts' culinary programs, the high school students offered a lunch menu for the staff before the sessions began. More than 65 staff members and President Charlie Kaczynski participated. It's anticipated that this will become a regular offering. Mr. Banyard and Mr. V. Meister shared updates to the district website, including the addition of readable, searchable curriculum documents. Mr. V. Meister was asked to return the staff directory to the public website in addition to adding it to Schoology. Mr. Banyard and Ms. Loconsolo reviewed the enrichment offerings for extended day. At this time, we have the largest enrollment in aftercare program we've ever had, with more than 780 students participating. Dr. Glazer reviewed the proposed BOE meeting dates for 2020 in light of changes required for preliminary budget certifications to the county. The March BOE and public budget presentation will be held on Wednesday, March 18th. A final calendar will be presented on tonight's agenda for approval. Ms. Loconsolo reviewed field trips and professional development. And Dr. Glazer provided an update on staffing, including the business administrator, assistant business administrator, and other personal items, and legal updates regarding pending litigation. The next meeting for the academic committee will be Wednesday, February 19th. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Danchek. Mr. Ferrer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Finance Committee met on January 23rd. The committee discussed options for the Nutley Oval Field and Press Box project. This is being planned as a capital project using reserve funds for later this spring and summer. Solutions Architecture joined us in the committee and presented options that will be shortly shared with the full Board of Ed and the community. Mr. Parigi provided updates on the facility projects that he just discussed, and also updates on staffing. Mr. Appleton reviewed the finance resolutions that are on tonight's agenda. Dr. Glazer reviewed the change to the proposed Board of Ed meeting calendar for March. This change is due to state requirement submissions for our budget. Dr. Glazer reviewed tonight's board presentations, as well as providing an update on staffing, including the business administrator, assistant business administrator, and other personnel items. Our next meeting is to be determined, but it will happen before the next meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
Just have to decide Tuesday or Thursday between the two meetings.
Tuesday.
You want to go back to Tuesday?
We'll discuss.
No, that's fine. That's perfect.
Mr. Carnasella.
Thank you, Mr. President. Our meeting for admin took place on January 23rd. In attendance was Trustee Riley and myself and Dr. Glazer. The two of us did meet in a portion of the finance. There was a little bit of an overlap there with the finance committee, which at that point only had two as well. Mr. Parigi provided us updates on the facility projects discussed tonight. Mr. Parigi provided an update on staffing. Mr. Appleton reviewed the finance resolutions on the BOE agenda this evening. Dr. Glazer reviewed the change to the proposed BOE meeting calendar for the March meeting due to the change in the date for state requirements for submission. And Dr. Glazer reviewed tonight's board presentation. Dr. Glazer provided an update on staffing, including the business administrator, assistant business administrator, and other personnel items. And there was a general discussion of culturally responsive teaching and the workshops being offered to staff. Dr. Glazer answered questions regarding a previous district legal issue. And we are going to determine what day of the week we're going to be having our meetings moving forward.
Thank you. Ms. Quirk, you want to talk about the policy?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
The policy committee met on January 22nd, and the committee reviewed the following policies and regulations for first reading: school district security, sexual harassment of students, school district security, secret societies, student right of privacy, sexual harassment, student grievance, plagiarism, student rights, and independent educational evaluations. They're all listed in the agenda. Dr. Glazer reviewed the policies for the Raptor system. They're being reviewed by the attorney. And please note the following policies and regulations for second reading tonight is on field trips. The next meeting for the policy committee will be Wednesday, February 19th.
Thank you very much. We now come to the portion of our meeting where we allow members of the public to address the board. In this section, we allow questions or comments on only the resolutions addressed in tonight's agenda. Our board regulations number 601 allow 20 minutes for these communications. Each person should be limited to 3 minutes, and we ask you to try to stay within this requirement. Speakers may speak more than once, only after all others wishing to speak on a topic have been heard. All statements will be directed to me as the chairperson. No one may address board members individually. Please be reminded that if your statement is too lengthy, abusive, obscene, irrelevant, or redundant, your participation may be terminated. Please remember to always state your name and address each and every time you address the board, and sign in with Mrs. Kakuza before you take the microphone. Anyone wishing to speak on resolution items, now is the time. Thank you. Mrs. Dancheck Martin, will you take academic, please?
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to move academic resolutions 1 and 2 as written.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Carnasella?
Yes.
Mrs. Dancheck Martin?
Yes.
Mr. DeMayo?
Yes.
Mr. Ferraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Quirk?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes. Mr. Carnasella, will you take administration, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to move administration resolutions 1 through 3 as written.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Carnasella?
Yes.
Mrs. Dancheck Martin?
Yes.
Mr. DeMayo?
Yes.
Mr. Ferraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Quirk?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes. Mr. Farrell, will you take finance, please?
Yes, Mr. President, motion to move finance resolutions 1 through 12 is written.
Second.
Discussion. I would like to make a comment on the acceptance of donations number 6. We see a donation of multiple pieces of athletic equipment to the Nutley High School Athletic Department from Joseph Coffey. I met Mr. Coffey recently. If you follow my Facebook page, you'll see that it was through a Facebook conversation. But anyway, we've become friends since then, and Nutley High School graduate, and him and his son have quite a bit of gym equipment that will be very useful to our high school. And Mr. Preacher doesn't know this yet, but we'll have to make some type of arrangements to pick that equipment up.
It's really not heavy at all,
I followed up with the police department, and what we can't use, they can certainly use in their facility in the public safety building. His price of the donation is quoted there, and I can assure you it's a lot more than is quoted there from what the equipment I've seen, so I wanted to thank him publicly for his donation. Thank you. Roll call?
Mr. Carnasella?
Yes.
Mrs. Dancheck Martin?
Yes.
Mr. DeMayo?
Yes, except I abstain on number 5.
Mr. Ferraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Quirk?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes. Mrs. Court, will you take personnel, please?
I move personnel resolution number 1 as written.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Carnasella?
Yes.
Mrs. Dancheck Martin?
Yes.
Mr. DeMayo?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mrs. Quirk?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes. Mrs. Quirk, will you take policy also, please?
Yes, Mr. President. I move policy resolutions 1 and 2 as written.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Carnasella?
Yes.
Mrs. Dancheck Martin?
Yes.
Mr. DeMayo?
Yes.
Mr. Ferrara?
Yes.
Mrs. Quirk?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes. In this section, we allow questions or comments on all school-related matters. Our regulations allow 30 minutes for these communications. Again, each person shall be limited to 3 minutes, and we ask you to try to stay within this requirement. As I stated earlier, all statements will be directed to me. Anyone wishing to address any of the school issues, now is the time to do it. Thank you. Any old business to come before the board? Under old business, I would like to say something. I was privileged to attend the culinary luncheon, I guess that's what we would call it, Dr. Vision, at the high school, that our children prepared outstanding lunch for the teachers, for staff, and a board member that snuck in. But it was outstanding. They were polite. They did a very good job. The food was tremendous, and our children are an asset to our system, certainly to their parents and to the staff that's there. They did a great job. It was a nice afternoon. Any new business to come before this board?
I do. Unfortunately, I think you remember that we lost Joseph Tirico back in December. We received a beautiful letter from his family with a mass card and the information on the scholarship. At the time of his passing, many of us had asked for that information. They've shared it, and we'll share it publicly. They're ready to start collecting donations.
Thank you. Whereas the Board of Education, I'm sorry.
I just
Sure.
have something under new business. Last month, we hired a new law firm. I was just wondering if we started working with them, if some new things, have we started?
We have not started the transition, but that's not, that, we haven't started.
We haven't at this point. Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry. Any other new business? Okay. Executive, whereas the Board of Education will be discussing matters exempt from public discussion pursuant to NJSA 10-4-12, now therefore be resolved that the Board of Education recess to close executive session at this time to discuss student matters, personnel, and property acquisition. Be it further resolved that the results of the discussion will be made public by inclusion on the agenda of the subsequent meeting of the Board of Education, or when the reasons for discussing such matters in closed session no longer exist.
Somebody has to vote.
Okay, somebody. Thank you. Second. Second, Frank.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, Mr. All in favor, Mr. Past President?
You guys are using.
Okay, Lorraine, I got it.
You guys are using